UFC heavyweight Roque Martinez. Thank you, Roque, for the time, man. How's life on the island?
Oh man, it's good. Well, despite the Guam's actually still in a lockdown, so it's a little tough getting around it. But life's still good, man. Still a lot to be grateful for.
Definitely. I saw something about you when you actually got back to Guam from Vegas. You kind of got around the quarantine. How did that all happen?
Yeah. So everybody who comes in they have a right to petition to get released from quarantine, and we got an attorney, and they actually found out that I actually didn't need to do the quarantine because in the law it says that if you're not gone for more than a week and you come back with a negative result, then you actually don't need to do a government quarantine. You could do a home quarantine. So that's how I was able to get out and be released.
Was that something that a lot of people did not know about, and you kind of educated people on that?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I think some people realize that you can. There is that. I guess you would call it a loophole, but yeah, I just think they could use that quarantine money and those government funds. Honestly, could be, in my opinion, could be used for something a little bit better.
Okay, so you don't have to pay for the quarantine.
No, it's paid for by the government. Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky. Like certain countries, you have to pay for the 2-week quarantine, like the hotel. Right now, Will Chope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting in Korea doing a 2-week quarantine. It's gonna cost him $1,600.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, right?
Yeah.
Especially you have to pay for it on your own.
I know.
Yeah, in a hotel too. So it is what it is, man. I guess if you could get around the loophole, then you gotta do it. But if you can't, man, you just gotta pay the money and do the quarantine. Let's go back to your UFC debut, man, and talk about that week. It's just outside of the fight, man. What did you learn most about just being in Vegas and experiencing your first fight week?
Man, I kind of learned a lot about myself that I feel like going through that, like I can almost go through anything now. It was such a hectic week, but man, I wouldn't change anything about it. Learned a lot about myself as a person and stuff like that. So good learning experience.
Like, what did you, in particular take away from that?
Man, that I guess in general in life, you just got to be ready for anything. Not just fighting, man. It's things happen in life, and whatever life throws your way, you just gotta, I guess you call it rolling with the punches and just go with it.
Coming out of that fight, were you, banged up, or it didn't seem like you were banged up too much.
Yeah, actually physically I was pretty good, man. It's just kind of weird because it's one of the least like damages I've taken lately, I want to say. But man, at the end of the day, it's still a loss, But at least out of all of it, at least I didn't get seriously injured or take too much damage.
Did the loss linger with you, or did you get over it pretty quick?
No, it still does, man. Like it eats at me, man, and every time I'm training and I think of the loss. If there's one thing like some of my people know about me is I'm probably my own biggest critic. So it's funny because I'll be at the gym and I'll be training and I'll make jokes about how bad the guy beat me, and it's my way of being honest with myself and knowing like, man, you have to get better. I don't like that sugarcoating. Like I've heard it a lot. What's that? Hey man, at least you're in the UFC. I freaking, I'm not happy just being there, man. Especially in the way I lost. So, yeah, it so eats at me, man. But that the good thing is I get an opportunity to show everyone that that's not the best I can bring.
Redemption, right? In a way.
Yeah, redemption. Yep.
Did you want to be back so fast? 2 months, man. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Man, the crazy part about it was I was getting ready to Jason House was in Fight Island and he was there for like 3 weeks. So I want to say on the second week I was thinking like, okay, let me wait till he gets back to Vegas, when he gets back stateside home, and I wanted to hit him up and see if we could start looking for a fight in November or December. And I wanted, like, not even a day or two after I was thinking that, he hit me up and asked if I can fight on November 14th, and like a yes in a matter of minutes.
Jason House, man, I think he's one of the hardest working managers out there in the game right now, and he's getting fights for his fighters instantly.
Yep. Yeah, man, that's something like I really appreciate, man. Like man, I'm a fighter, and I just got to fight. I don't like being on the shelves that long, especially it's such a, for the most part, it's a short-lived career, you know. So you want to take advantage of it while you can.
Now, when you get back to Guam, go through the quarantine, you start training again. You know, so was there anything in particular like you wanted to focus on in your training because of the last fight?
Yeah. Right off the bat, I knew I needed to get back to my wrestling roots. You know, I grew up wrestling, and I want to say my wrestling's pretty decent, and at times I think I could be a good wrestler. I just strayed away from it, I guess, the last couple years. You know, I haven't had to use it much, and I got exposed, and it was good for me because I learned like, man, I need to get back on it. And you know, a lot of people know our head coach at Spike is Melker Manabusan, and he's a pretty legit wrestler. You know, he's competed in worlds and even placed in worlds for wrestling. So now he runs like a couple of classes a week, like just real hard old school wrestling, you know, like basics and stuff I really needed to work on and should have been working on, but man, now we're getting back on it, you know.
Are you still working a full-time job?
So it's a little tricky. Right now I'm on a remote work basis. So if they need my help, I'll help out. But they kind of understand that you know, I actually wanted to resign, but they don't want to let me go yet. So they were able to kind of get me on a remote status, and that's my current work situation. But it's definitely allowed me to recover in between training sessions a lot more.
You feel like right now is the time to just 100%, you know, kind of like step away from the work and just focus on training and just being an athlete?
Yeah, full time, man. Like I'm doing 3 training sessions a day now. So I definitely, you know, got to get the rest in between, as opposed to before, just training to work to back to training to back to work. Is just, it takes its toll, you know. But now I get to recover in between training. I come home now and I kind of get to relax and lay out a little bit, and you just really get that recovery and stuff like that.
With that extra time, do you like focus on watching film, or are you just worried about recovery?
Yeah, so I'll actually watch film when I don't want to say when I get bored, but like pretty frequently I'll you know, I'll watch like YouTube, Netflix, stuff like that, and then I'll hop on and like I'll watch my opponent's fight. Like I'll watch that same fight multiple times just to try and kind of get familiar, you know. Like I think it's good to just be familiar with your opponent and his movements, habits, stuff like that. So yeah, I do a lot of watching film now than probably I've ever done before.
All right, your opponent that you're talking about, you've been watching him, Dontel Mays. What can you tell me about him, man? How do you feel about the matchup?
I think it's a good matchup for me personally. I think his striking is pretty good. But it's just, to me, it's nothing that's too special or stands out. You know, I faced some pretty good strikers in my career, and it's something I'm really and I consider myself a striker as well. So I think matchup wise, it's really good for me, and I think I can bring the pressure against him and kind of wear him down. If there's some things I've seen is that he gets tired, and you know, that's just another option. But I see me having an advantage if I get inside on the letting my hands go. I think if I get back to me letting my hands go like I used to, for the most part, I'm a better fighter that way. So I want to kind of get back to those old school, just letting the hands go again.
The last fight, you were just staying ready for an opportunity. This fight, you actually go through a camp. So, you know, mentally, is it different going into this one?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, of course, I always have that. Totally stand by the training all the time and be ready for anything, like on a few days' notice. But having this advance notice, it's definitely gives me more mental preparation, I guess you could say. And yeah, man, it's like, I think it was a 5 or 6 week notice, but it feels like a lifetime of a notice compared to the last. So Yeah, I definitely appreciate this one.
Yeah, I bet you your last fight was like one of those sequences in a movie where everything fast forwards real quick, and then now you're at
Yeah,
the end. Was it like that?
yeah. It's just like just when I think about it, man. Like I tell everyone, that thing was like it was like 1,000 mile an hour
Mhm.
freaking roller coaster ride, man. Just everything from getting the confirmed fight to hopping on a plane in 2 hours to just all that medical stuff.
Mhm.
But got to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it, man. Now you don't have to do it because you did it already, and
Yep.
this time you'll have your corners with you. I feel like last time you didn't have your normal corners, right?
Yeah, yeah. My last one was like a makeshift corner.
Mhm.
But yeah, this time Melker will be coming out with me,
Mhm.
and I have one of my other guys who will be in Vegas too. He's familiar with our training and stuff.
Mhm.
So I'll have I'll have my main cornerman with me, which is good for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think that makes a huge difference, especially with the environment that you're in, where you can hear everything.
Yeah, so like that was the one thing. Like I remember when I was fighting in Korea, even Japan, but more
Mhm.
so in Korea, they were really impressed with how me and my cornerman were conversating in
Yeah.
between the fight. So yeah, it's gonna be funny when the UFC's we're in the UFC, the Apex, and they hear the way we can conversate. It'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely, man. I want to see people's reactions. I want to see the commentators' reactions to that when you do
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I saw that you posted something about you cutting back on like beer. Like, was that something
Yeah,
that you normally like you drank beer throughout camps?
yeah. I I called it recovery beer. Um, I still have a beer here or there now and then. Of course, because I don't have to worry about cutting too
Mhm.
much weight. Um, but I cut down significantly, and my thing with beer was like I'll drink a few and it'll just help me relax and
Mhm.
sleep good on the weekends. But now, like I probably only have like like one beer on the weekends, and it gives me a good just to relax me, and I'll lay down and I pass out early on Friday nights, man, like 7:30, and so yeah, that's my thing with cutting back on beer. I don't drink as much as I used to. Yeah, and I on top of that, I even cleaned up my eating. So, man, I want to say like I'm about 15, 20 pounds lighter than my last fight already.
Wow.
Just with those what was it, 8 weeks or so, or
Mhm.
something like 7, 8 weeks. So it's made a difference, and I guess just being a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and those small adjustments, man. I feel like they're gonna make a world of difference coming up.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Cause you already had the cardio, man. You've never had issues with that. So
Yeah. So now I think it's better now, So I feel really good about this one. I'm excited.
all right. Well, the final question is, how do you feel like you're gonna get your first UFC win?
And I'm picturing in my head like I've never wanted to be like one of those guys. Oh, I'm gonna knock this guy out, this
Mhm.
or that. But I see myself, with all due respect to my opponent, I feel like I see myself winning by a TKO or a KO, man. Like
Mhm.
that's just what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing. It's just what I feel, And like I said, with all due respect to my opponent, it's not like one of those, hey man, I'm gonna go out there and
Mhm.
KO your ass. It's just what I'm feeling, man. And if it comes, it comes. I'm not gonna go searching for it, but if it comes, it comes. But on top of that, at the end of the day, whatever it takes to win, man, I just got to get a win. Whether it's I don't like decision wins. I like
Mhm.
decisive wins, like a convincing finish. But if that's the route I have to go because I can't take him out, then I'll go that route. And same with the submission. But just in what I'm feeling in my head and stuff like that, I feel like a TKO or a KO.
Flying knee, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That's right, man. Well, November 14th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Roki, thank you so much, man, for the time. All the best, man. It's always good catching up with you.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for having me, like always. So appreciate it, man.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.